All right, we are live. This is John from the Triple P calling in. We have four esteemed guest hosts as well today from the Black Rifle Model Worx community and some Triple P hosts as well. So today I have with me Sir Ivan Jensen Taylor.
Hello.
Jackson from the US.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And Luke from Black Rifle Model Worx, pardon me. And then
Yeah.
Graham as well. How are you all doing today?
Hello.
Doing really good.
Good.
Well, we are certainly excited to have you. This is certainly going to be a great conversation around scale model world, everything Telford. I've never been, Jackson's never been. The hype is real. We're super excited to meet not only you, but the other folks going to the show. Cannot wait to get into it. Ivan has told us a lot about it. We hope he doesn't disappoint us. He never does. But before we really jump into it, I think it'd be important to kind of get to know, Jackson, Luke, and Graham. They've been on the pod before at one time or another, or they've been mentioned, but I'd love to, have them introduce themselves, give a little background of, their modeling interests, why they're going to Telford, and then we'll jump really right into the discussion around the show itself. What can we expect? What we're looking forward to? And with that, I'll kick it over to Jackson.
Hey, how's it going? So, I'm a 22-year-old armor modeler. That's my main thing. I do a lot of 3D work, CAD, 3D printing, and whatnot. I love my Shermans. That's kind of what I'm known for in our little friend group. And then outside of modeling, I volunteer at a local tank museum as well as a mechanic. So I get to do some hands-on with some of the vehicles and whatnot as well.
Super cool.
That is awesome. Yep. Super jelly. Luke, I'll kick it over to you. I think you're the founder of Black Rifle Model Worx. Maybe talk a little bit of that as well.
Oh, thank you. That's a very grand title. So I'm a little different, I guess, to a lot of people in the hobby. I didn't do it in my younger years at all. So I've been modeling now for probably about 7 years, bordering on 8 years, predominantly armor, although I will build pretty much everything. You can see behind me there's a full-size gaming table. Last sort of 2 years probably got into 40k and fell down that rabbit hole. The Black Rifle Model Worx thing, it started as a YouTube channel essentially, badly. And it was just a way of me kind of documenting my modeling journey. That's kind of how that came about. And it's grown legs. So now fairly recently, in the last 3 months, we now have a Facebook group. So the channel's still there, and it is going from strength to strength. I'm also an ambassador for Models for Heroes here in the UK. So without going into massive detail, the reason I started modeling is because I left the military after a long time and just struggled with being a civilian and found modeling before I knew about Models for Heroes. And obviously that's grown, and now I'm an ambassador for them and the benefits of the hobby to veterans, first responders, that sort of stuff. And I am a first responder here in the UK. I'm a paramedic. That's me in a nutshell.
That's a fantastic story. And I'd love to, pull on the Models for Heroes more as we talk about Telford and maybe what efforts at the show are done through that charity, and then how our listeners can support not only at the event, but then additionally outside of the event, what's that avenue? How can we support in any way, shape, or form, whether it's monetary donations or even donations of kits themselves?
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be fantastic. And the last person I'd love to introduce is Graham, a constant fixture that I've admired for a long time. Your work is fantastic, certainly inspirational, and then a key component of the Black Rifle Model Worx community as well. So Graham, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wow. Every time anybody says that, I'm like, I just chuck paint on bits of plastic. Thank you. I build mainly aircraft and armor. I've dabbled in cars a little bit, but predominantly aircraft and armor now, and I'll flip between the two depending on what takes me fancy. I'm not really have any preference. And I've been modeling for about the same as Luke, about 6 or 7 years now, I think, something like that. Met Ivan pretty much just after I got into the hobby through Facebook, and we've been friends ever since, and it's lovely. So I've obviously been around people who've been able to, give me good guidance and instruction, really, and which has definitely helped me a hell of a lot over the years. I have a big shed in my garden where I hide away from the family and stuff, and This happened within 6 months of me starting the hobby. I was on a little table in the guest room, and within 6 months, I had a 12-foot by 10-foot shed in my garden, fully kitted out with everything in. I kind of fell down a bit of a rabbit hole. I volunteer for Models for Heroes as well as Luke's an ambassador. I'm one of the volunteers. I've run 2 groups now. I'm not currently running one, but it's a very rewarding thing to do. Just helping people who I saw it for myself. I had anxiety, or still have anxiety and depression myself, and I found one of the reasons I got so heavily into modeling was because it was helping me. So as soon as I became aware of Models for Heroes, technically I'm a veteran. I never saw theatre, so I don't consider myself as a veteran, but I'm ex-military.
You are a veteran.
So I couldn't wait to help out, and yeah, it's a very rewarding thing to do. It's something I love to fly the flag for. It's great.
That's awesome. Again, a wonderful story. And I want to highlight to our listeners before we really jump into the show, again, mentioning the Black Rifle Model Worx community. I look at it very similar to the Triple P. You have an ethos around, the group, what you look to promote, happiness, building for yourself, sharing, community, social, all those things are really key tenets of the group that I see a lot of similarities with the Plastic Posse and its extension into the UK. So it's a really cool group. I would encourage all of our listeners, not only live today, but if you're listening on the pod when this drops, please check out their Facebook group, their YouTube channel, submit a subscribe button, click that like, and also request to join. I think you'll find a lot of people very similar to the Plastic Posse, their approach to the hobby, their approach to life. And everybody, it goes back to what you both said around the community supporting each other and, acknowledging that sometimes life gets tough, and it's good to have people, that have went through it and are experiencing it to share those moments and come out, ahead. And I think that's what your community certainly does. So it's
Absolutely.
Awesome to finally get us together.
Yeah, without a doubt.
There's a great correlation. I know when I did the interview for the Triple P with Ivan and Scott, it was one of the things that we did talk about was the encouragement of other people into the hobby and helping them to develop without putting them down or criticizing unnecessarily and that kind of thing. And it's a good place to be if you're in that sort of environment and everybody's on the same page, just exactly like you guys are doing on the Triple P as well. And it's something that when Luke asked me to get involved, I couldn't say no. Really, it's right up my alley.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I think So I fell down the Warhammer hole a couple of years ago. And then at the start of this year, I was massively losing my mojo for scale modeling because of 40K, if you're playing it as well, it does sort of take over your life to a point. And I got involved in the 48-hour group build that you guys got involved in the US from the Triple P. And the way the Triple P portray the hobby and the positivity around the hobby is what drew me back in to the scale modeling and rejuvenated the mojo for it, really. So when we started the Black Rifle Model Worx group, we very much wanted to go down that line of positivity, encouragement. Every genre is welcome, and it was not copying but mirroring the ethos of the Triple P in being such a positive community, and it's working, so yeah, thanks to you guys for that, because without that I probably wouldn't be sat here anymore. So,
well, yeah, we're happy to have you, and along with that community and happiness, we're going to bring along the hype, and the hype about this live session is all about Scale Model World. I've never been, Jackson's never been. So, Ivan, maybe to kick us off, just give a basic description of the dates and then some of the high-level details, and I'd encourage Luke and Graham to chime in, and I know myself and Jackson will chime in with questions as well as we go through this overview.
I'm really worried now that I've massively oversold how good this show is. But yeah, it can't be oversold. I was worried the first time I went that it's like I'm getting told it's this and that, but at the end of the day, it's just a model show. The second you walk in, it's like, whoa, this is big. This is it's absolutely fantastic. So yeah, it's the UK's biggest model show, arguably the biggest model show in the world. It's at the Telford International Centre on the 12th and 13th of November. You've got Saturday, Sunday, set up on Friday. They like to get that the day early, so it can be full steam ahead Saturday. Nothing needs setting up. You go in, you have fun. IPMS members get in for free. If you're not an IPMS member, you have to pre-register, buy a ticket for the days you want to attend. This is new, that they're not doing any on-the-door purchasing. You can't just turn up on the day and be like, hi, can I come in? But yeah, that's what it is. It's just everything that is modeling is at that show. That bit I don't think I can undersell. Everything is there. And it's I said this on the live stream we did on Friday. When you compare it to the US show, you've got vendors, you've got a massive competition hall, really cool. But this show has everything. Clubs, displays, competition, demonstrations, traders, as well as companies go in there just to show new products without actually selling anything. Everything is there. And I can't get that across enough. You'll be, the first time you go, John, Jax, you are going to be so blown away. You're going to be like, whoa. It's going to take you a bit to chill and get it into your system. There's borderline too much to do for the 2 days. And I've heard this a few times. Nats could be 1 day shorter. Telford should be 1 day longer. There's so much at Telford. Luke, Graham, you've been quite a few times now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what was it like the first time you went?
The first time I went to Telford, I went by myself because I was new in the hobby.
Mm-hmm.
You join the Facebook groups and all that stuff and watch from YouTube, and everyone was talking about Scale Model World in Telford. Well, I only live less than an hour from Telford itself. So I was like, I'll go on the Saturday and see what it's all about. And you're absolutely right. You walk in there, and bearing in mind, I was new in the hobby. So my experience of model shows was virtually zero. And I walked in there and it's just huge. And it blew my mind. And I was only supposed to be there on the Saturday. But you're absolutely right. There's so much to see, so much going on. I went back on the Sunday, and I've been, barring obviously the last couple of years because no one's been able to go anywhere. But other than that, I've been every single year. But I definitely think this year will be the best year yet, because now it's more of a social thing as well. And that's key to me in the hobby. But yeah, it's mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. There's so much there. So much there.
Yeah, I think I went in. If the first year I went I wasn't actually working with anybody, but I managed to acquire a trader's wristband. So I walked in at, well before anybody else was in there, 8 a.m., something like that. So it's still quite empty. And I think when there's no bodies in that hall and it's just all the tables laid out ready for it all to start, you really do get a appreciation of the vastness of the place. It's massive. And I can remember just walking in. I was next to Ivan, and I could tell what he was doing. He just walked beside me. He was just watching me, expression on my face, and my jaw just dropped. And he went, "It's impressive, isn't it?" Whiz. Yeah. And then it was just 2 days of just non-stop. It's so busy. There's so much going on. And what I like certainly as I've gone in more recent years, or as I was further into the hobby, especially with doing stuff on YouTube and that, you find yourself walking around and sort of every 10 minutes, somebody's tapping you on the shoulder. Hey, mate, I haven't seen you and literally bumping into people who haven't seen for a year. And that's the only time you'll ever get to see them face to face, but you know them through Facebook or whatever. And it does become a sort of a meet and greet social sort of thing. And then if you can go with a group of friends as well, it's just even better because, yeah, not only are you taking in all the modelling goodness, but you're having a bit of a giraffe as you're going around as well.
I mean, John and Jackson, this one's for you. Of all the pictures or footage of YouTube videos that I've sent you of me going to Hogwarts you've seen, what impression have you got of the show? Because whatever that is, it still can't prepare you for the scale of it.
I'm going to be honest. I don't remember anything from that video you sent me. I'm going in completely blind, and I'm excited. So I don't have any expectations other than I know that, like, since I started modeling, it's always kind of been in my head as like this mecca of modeling shows. You know, I was blown away by Nats. That was my first time going to IPMS Nationals, and I'm even more excited to see something even bigger because from what I understand, it is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So no expectations, but I know I'll be blown away.
It's a good way of doing it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for me, I don't think I have any expectations either, but I've certainly, you know, dare I say, done the research. A lot of friends have gone there. My club back in Pittsburgh, before I moved, they would go every other year, and hearing the stories, seeing the videos, I think one of the things that stands out most to me is that catwalk area above the hall. And I remember seeing your video, and then there was another YouTuber that did, you know, an overview from up there, and it just sets the scene at the scale of the event. And I remember I'm like, one day I'm going to stand up there and I'm going to take a video and I'm going to take a picture and, you know, be a part of that experience where I look around. And maybe one thing that I think, obviously I'll compare it to the IPMS Nationals because that's the only thing I know. But one of the things I think that stood out to me as opposed to the IPMS, it looks jam-packed. It looks more congested. It looks like there's more people. There's more types of things. So at the IPMS Nationals, I think of two major things: contest room, vendor hall. But at Telford, it's much more than that, I think. At least from the outside looking in. You have your SIGs, you have the trader hall, you have the small contest room, but it looks like within like the SIGs and other areas, there's almost pockets of different communities. I've heard stories of stopping by the check table and getting a drink or hanging out with them. And, you know, all those little micro kind of conversations. I don't necessarily know that they're present at the IPMS Nationals because the vibe is different. It's almost transactional in the vendor hall, where I see that type of, you know, social engagement area enabled by the SIGs as something that's completely different. And I'm looking forward to. I just want to walk around, see the work on the table, talk to everybody. Like you said, I want to meet literally everyone. I want to understand, you know, what everything about the show. And I have plenty of money to take, so I'm fully expecting that I'll spend that as well. But I won't pull an Ivan. I'm going to stick to smaller items that can fit in a luggage bag that I can get through the airport. But you know, long answer short, my expectations. I don't know if you can. I know it's going to be a great time. Bottom line, you know, I'm not going to be disappointed.
One of the good things is the way it's laid out as well. The traders aren't separate from the clubs and SIGs. So the trading stands will be on one side and then on the other. To get between them, you're walking down aisles with clubs and SIGs on both sides of you. So you can walk down to one trader, have a look, and then walk back and come up the other way because you tend to flow around. So you can't help but go and look at the models that are on display because you're walking past them. And a lot of the time, because it is busy, you can't walk quickly because you're in a queue anyway. So you're just almost forced, if you like, to look at it and to pay attention. And stopping and taking time to appreciate what people have done is not a chore. It's kind of, it just happens with the flow. It works really, really well. It's such a good do. That catwalk you mentioned, incidentally, when that comes into its prime for me is at 11 o'clock on Sunday morning when they play the last post for Remembrance Day. And that's, awesome.
Yeah, it's a special moment. And I've said this to both John and Jackson. I can't wait for them to experience that and be there in person because I'll admit it, and I think most people admit it. You think it won't get you, but when you're there, it's hustle and bustle, conversation everywhere, and a bang, silence. It's a special moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll admit it. There'll be a tear coming from my eye. I know there will.
Yeah, I blub every year. I won't worry about that.
Yeah,
every year. But yeah, there's thousands of people and they just stop. So they'll be in the middle of a vendor stand or wherever they are within those halls, and everyone just stops for 2 minutes. It's just, unbelievable.
Yeah, that, you know, experiences like that and having them, you know, really impactful. It's just something you can't find anywhere else. It's something that is, you know, truly unbelievable. And, you know, I just saw in the chat, John Tapsell posted, like, 10,000 attendees over the 2 days. That's astounding. For reference, the IPMS Nationals, it probably draws anywhere between 2,000 and 3,000. And 3,000 is a big number. And 2,000 includes not only the registrants, but general admission. When I see numbers of 10,000, that's astonishing to me. And to see that type of health in the hobby, and then also you think about that many people, but then somber moments like that, where everybody, locks in and shows a sign of respect is really exemplifies the community, I think, itself as well. And I just can't wait for every second of it. And even on Friday, I think maybe we're going to get exposed Friday, Ivan, if Cosford doesn't work out, but I'm ready, man. Every piece of it.
Yeah. I think us guys, when I think, I know I went with Graham. Luke, you went 2019 as well. We were borderline saying it was too busy, which is a good thing.
It was packed.
Extraordinarily busy. Like you couldn't. There was many aisles you couldn't get down.
Yeah,
just too many people. Yeah. It was heaving, but that's a good thing. It shows that this hobby ain't dying.
So with, question from my perspective, Ivan, we talk about, Graham had mentioned the Traders Hall, the SIGs, there's also the competition aspect, and that's smaller. Can you maybe talk a little bit about where that is, the size, and then I'd love to know what, Luke and Graham and Jackson are going to bring to the show.
Yeah. So the competition last year, with one of the halls closed off, it was in the hall with traders and SIGs. Usually it's upstairs in the mezzanine level, very private. It's quite a nice place to have it because it's out the way. But I'm not gonna lie, last year when it was downstairs in the halls where everyone was, I actually preferred it. There was really good lighting. It was an open space. It worked really well. But I think this year again, it's back upstairs in the mezzanine. I find upstairs it's a little bit cramped, but it's competition. It's not going to be too busy. They close it off for judging. They close it off for media. They make sure you don't take any rucksacks or bags in there, because there've been incidents before with people being like, "Oh, sorry," and then you've just destroyed someone's work they've been working on for 5 years. Yeah, competition. It's a cool thing. I like it. Some people don't. I know we discussed this the other day. It's it's a 1-2-3 system. Yeah, but it's good. If you like competitions, it's a good competition to be in because it's such a diverse competition. There are a billion different categories, and everything that's in that competition deserves to be there. The standard of work is absolutely incredible. I know, Graham, competitions aren't your thing.
Yeah.
No intention. Luke, I know you're entering this year, as am I. Yeah,
I think we're in the same category.
Yeah, we're going to be. It's me versus you.
Pretty much.
Because, yeah, that's what you get with it. 1-2-3. So yeah, I know. GB Jackson, are you going to enter? Because you got till the 8th of November to enter.
Yeah, so I'm entering a few things. I must admit I'm very nervous about flying with models because I've never done that before. But depending on how much I can fit in, I know I'm definitely going to be bringing my Tadpole, my Tiger that I did pretty recently. So I'll have both of those. And I'm currently working on finishing up my Samoa for the buddy build JB and I and a few other friends have been doing. So assuming I can finish that in the next 2 weeks, that'll be there too. And then whatever else I have room for.
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I plan on bringing a few things for the comp. I'm not sure what yet. I have traveled with models on an airplane before, so it's pretty simple when you have armor, but I'll be bringing a few models to support the SIG. So 109 in Spanish Civil War. So I have a Brita and a Mini 109 to bring over to support that, but also for the comp, definitely going to bring the Panzer Gray #blue Samoa. So be sure to look. You want it? You can take it home with you.
It's beautiful, that, honestly.
You can take it home. Ivan already asked, but if you want it, Graham, you can take it home with you.
Man, I'm not with you. No, Ivan can take that. He's
he don't like it that much.
No, I do.
Oh. So I hope to get that done, and then there's a few other things I hope to bring too. So and really, I'm bringing it to, the comp is a way to display your work, but I really value the SIGs. And what I hope to do is to connect with some of the SIGs that I have an interest in. So the next time I come to Telford, I can support them. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. And, Ivan, I'd go back to your comment. Graham, you might not be entering the comp, but are you bringing work to the show that we can see?
No, not this year. I did a couple of years ago, but no, I'm not taking anything down this year. Partly because I'm too lazy to put it into boxes and make sure it doesn't get broken, if I'm quite honest. But no, I only brought one thing a couple of years ago, and that was only because basically I was ordered to, in a nice way. But no, it's not really my thing. I'm never that convinced my work's good enough to show, to be quite honest.
Oh, come on!
I know, and that's not me fishing for compliments. I genuinely just think, oh no, it's no point. But then again, having said that, if the judging was slightly different, I might be tempted. But
I just have to point out, John's just put in the chat, the competition will be in Hall 3 this year, so it's not in the mezzanine. Halls 1 and 2 are a mix of trade and clubs, whilst Hall 3 is non-trade and just displays.
Cool.
Yeah, the competition will be in one of the halls again, which is really cool. I like that.
Yeah, that the lighting should be there.
Yeah, well, very much so.
Yeah,
I suppose if because Edward aren't going, are they, this year?
Nah.
And they usually take quite a bit of real estate with their stands.
Oh,
so
they've got a big footprint.
Sort of space by the time a few vendors don't come. Will be a vast area left over there, I reckon. So,
yeah,
okay.
I don't think they're coming because Ivan bought their entire stock at
they have nothing left.
National.
Yeah.
He was like a great white shark hunting seals there for crying out loud.
I was pacing for like 4 hours.
There's marks in the carpet. They have to replace it in the hall. So
I mean, I did speak to Jan from Edward, and he just said it's not in the books. Too much paperwork, and it costs more to get all that stock to England than it does to America. It is what it is. It's a shame they're not going to be there because they always have a really good presence and a really good stand. But
yeah,
it is what it is.
So real quick, I'd love to circle back, Luke. If you could talk about maybe what you're bringing to the show. I look forward to seeing your work and can't wait to hear what you're going to bring.
Yeah, well, don't look forward to it too much.
Oh.
It will be disappointing. So, as I said about the Warhammer stuff and the 40k stuff, so at the start of this year, I entered a couple of 40k pieces into a very Warhammer-esque competition. They did quite well. So I'm bringing those with me because almost as a bit of an experiment to see how the IPMS judges receive those as opposed to the traditional scale model, essentially. I don't expect them to do anything because it's something that perhaps is a little bit left of field for an IPMS competition. I'm also bringing an ICN 35th Chernobyl fire truck, and I'm bringing, I think, the 48 scale new Tamir Challenger 2.
Nice.
And a couple of Rubicon models. So
nice. Those are nice.
Yeah, they're really cool. I love them. So I've got a bit of a deal with Steve Perry, who is Rubicon UK essentially. So Stoke-on-Trent IPMS Club, they have a Rubicon SIG that they go around all the shows in the UK with. So any Rubicon kit I build goes to that SIG, and Steve supplies the kits to me.
Cool.
To build for that SIG, because he uses that SIG because he's unable to get around all the shows logistically. He uses that SIG as a bit of an advertisement to try and encourage modelers to build Rubicon rather than just gamers, because they lend themselves to it really. So there'll be a couple of those, a Crusader and a IDF Centurion.
Nice.
So that's what I'm bringing.
Having said that, next year I'll be bringing some stuff to the show. Definitely next year, because I'll have somewhere to put it, won't I, Luke?
You will indeed. So yeah, next year, Black Rifle Model Worx community group will have a stand at Telford next year, a club stand essentially. So we were fortunate enough to be accepted by IPMS UK as a club, even though we don't have a physical venue. We're very much online, which enables us next year to have a stand at Telford, so the community group members can bring their work, and potentially, if they're not confident to put it on a competition table, but they want to show their work, then that's the place that we're going to do it. You'll be able to display it all weekend on the stand. Yeah.
And we're gonna borrow a Jackson smoke machine. We're gonna have neon lights. It's
fancy dress. Yeah.
I think something occurred to me on Friday night on our live show that we may be the first ever virtual IPMS club.
Love it.
I don't think I know of any others.
I don't think we're the first worldwide, but I certainly think to have a display stand at Telford, we will be the first virtual club to do that. Unless someone steals our thunder in the next 12 months, maybe.
I think as more people get into the sort of what we're doing here, video chatting over Zoom or StreamYard, whatever, I think it'll become more of a thing. Because in many ways it works better than a physical club, doesn't it? Because you don't have to, worry about showering and things like that before you go and sit next to somebody in a cold, dusty church hall every Wednesday night. You can do it every night from the comfort of your shed. It's lovely.
Yeah, and it's something we touched on Friday. So, for example, the five of us sat here talking about the hobby and everything else. If we were part of a physical club, a local club, and that was it, well, I'd be talking to people that live within an hour of me. Now I'm talking to guys that are in the States. We talk to guys in Australia. We talk all over the world, and that can only be a positive thing. It can only be a positive thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I agree 100%, and I think that's an opportunity for IPMS in general is to embrace the online club because it's something that you can't find in a local club. It's crazy. I mentioned to people, "Oh, I'm going to the UK. My friend's going to pick me up." "Oh, how do you know him?" "Well, I met him on the internet." Shout out to John Bryan for hooking Jackson up for a ride. But it's a community, at least with scale modeling, that I've found that I don't think you could find. It's very difficult to meet people, especially around the world, especially with similar interests and a similar person, to be that, quite frank. I consider all of you friends, and we've only talked digitally, whether it's through text or even seeing each other on Zoom. And I think it's an excellent opportunity for IPMS to leverage. And it's also awesome that they're giving you the opportunity to have a table. And I have a question around that table. Is that something that IPMS provides to you? Do you have to pay for it? How does that work? Because I have no idea for SIGs.
So for traders and vendors, obviously there is a fee, which is quite expensive. For the SIGs and clubs, there is a nominal charge, but it's pennies really. For essentially a 6 foot by 4 foot table. If you want more real estate, if you want power, then there is an additional charge on top of that. But again, I mean, I would imagine now, due to the state of the world, the power thing will be quite expensive. However, for real estate, for your stand, it's not expensive. It's pennies, really.
That's awesome.
And as long as you are registered with the IPMS, they will accept that. So yeah, it can only be a good thing. It's not expensive for clubs.
That's a great enabler. I want to take a step back. We had a question in the chat. I think it'd be great to acknowledge, and anyone's welcome to take it. For those who are not informed around what a SIG is, Ivan, could you define what a SIG is for our listeners?
Yes, it's a special interest group. So it's basically a very specific subject that a display or a group will build. For example, there's a Spitfire SIG. All they will do is Spitfires. Like John said in the chat, there's a SIG for 144. They'll build everything as long as it's 1/44th scale. So rather than just being a group for models, they are very specific models. And that's all it is, really. It's just a specialized subject, which the SIG owners or the people who run it will have a really strong passion in, whether that be 109s, Sherman tanks, like we did. Practically what we did for Nats was a SIG. It was a M3, M4 SIG. So yes, it's a very specialist subject. And they're really cool because when you go around the table and see 50 Spitfires and every single one looks different, it's really impressive. So I really love the SIGs.
That's awesome. And one of the other things you mentioned, Ivan, for the show was seminars. Is that a thing as well at the show?
Yes, I believe this year there are 4 seminars, speeches, demonstrations. I think this is. You'll have to forgive me for this one if I'm wrong. I think there's 2 on each day. I think. I'm sure John will correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, we have seminars. They're very different than they are in the US. I've noticed
the presenters
the
turn
US...
up on time, John.
Oh well,
that was shady. Although true,
he was too busy trying to, weasel his way into Cabela's back room and touch everything.
Oh, the British guy's back.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've forgotten what I was talking about. Seminars. Yeah, there are seminars at this show. There are 4 of them right now.
Very different.
Yeah, they're very different. And I've noticed the way they're done at the US show. They're pushed heavy, very encouraged to attend. And I'm not saying that's not the case here, but I only realized this week that what was going on and what the demonstrations were and about them. So yeah, there are seminars and such at Telford. If you can find time out of the day to attend, that's brilliant. But sometimes because Telford, the show is so busy, you do forget. You lose track of time so quickly.
Yeah, the day goes real quick.
Yeah.
Mm.
So talking about the day, what time does the show end?
On Saturday at 6 p.m. On Sunday, 4 p.m. And they want everyone out by 5, I think, or they want it all stripped down and basically as soon as possible on Sunday. The sooner they can hand the keys back, I believe, the better for them. But yeah, it's traders, media pass holders, whatever, 8 till 6 on Saturday, IPMS members 9 till 6 on Saturday, and general public with tickets 10 till 6 on Saturday. And those times are the same for Sunday, but obviously just ending at 4.
Sounds like Saturday's going to be a long day.
Saturday's a very long day. Your feet will be killing. Your legs will be knackered. But it's a good pain. It's worth it.
Yeah, yeah. And then Saturday night, we have plans. I think we're all doing dinner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think we're in dinner every night for 7 days as lot.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait. So many dinner dates.
Oh yeah. So many selfies. Well, every time you go to a show every week, you take a picture of the food and send it me. So we'll be doing that.
Payback for Scott.
Yes. So yeah, we've all got dinner planned for Friday night. TGI Fridays, getting you some traditional British food. We've got, I believe, Hungry Horse for Saturday.
Yeah.
We don't know what we're doing Sunday because that's when we all shoot shit down to Bovington.
You know what I want to do on Sunday?
Yes,
what I want to do.
Graham's got a very traditional plan.
Where we're staying is a very picturesque harbour town on the south coast of England, where the hotel is we booked. And of course, it's traditional to eat fish and chips from the paper in Britain. So that's what we're going to do, sitting on the harbour wall. And it's all lit up at night. It's beautiful. It's really nice. It'll be bloody cold, but it'll be nice.
Yeah. And I'm going to make Jackson eat the fish. He's not just having chips.
I don't like seafood. I don't. I'm going to eat chips with salt and vinegar, or vinegar on it, and I'll be good.
You can
mushy
have
peas.
Pucker pie.
Nope.
Pucker pie, yeah.
We'll stop by McDonald's and get him some nuggies.
Yeah.
He'll be happy
Nuggets and fries, please.
Get him some tendies.
Oh man!
Just bring some frozen dino nuggies and ask them to deep fry them.
My tater tots. I need to bring them.
So, I actually have a question going back to the show. When I think about the vendor hall, I have no idea what to buy because I think it's going to be a demographic of vendors that probably I haven't seen a lot of what they had. Is there anything on, each of your lists that you're looking out for? And maybe we'll start with for Graham.
Not really, not this year. I'm going with a completely open mind and a full wallet, but just a completely open mind.
Humble brag.
Yeah, full's relative though, Ivan.
I'm so rich.
We're not all English upper class royalty like yourself, Sir Ivan. I'm not really a big person for buying kits. I tend to like buying tools and paint more. Although I'm very tempted to pull the trigger on a PS770 airbrush.
Nice.
Very tempted, but we'll see.
Very nice. Luke, how about yourself?
Similar. I tend to use shows because you will get tools and products that are difficult to come by elsewhere. So they will catch my eye, and I'll obviously pull the trigger on those. Kit-wise, depending on the price. So I think there's a misconception that people get a really good deal at Telford.
Yep.
It's not always the case. It's not this, the sale of the century as far as the vendors go. But if I can get them at a good price, the new Tamiya F35, Tamiya Comet, and the Italieri 32nd GR4.
Yeah,
Nice.
I'm tempted by that as well, actually. I'm very tempted to see if I can get one of those. And I need a T55 as well.
Yeah. But yeah, tools, and there's always something that catches your eye.
Yep.
That you have no sort of preconception that you would go in looking for that. And then you're like, yeah, bang. I'll take it.
Nice.
The benefit of the show, I guess.
So, Graham, question: what scale T55?
35th.
I have one. I'll bring it. You can have it.
See, this is the type of guy John is. It's
I have a
aggressive
Tamiya one.
generosity.
You can have it. I'll bring it. Don't buy it unless you want a mini art one.
Well, no, that's what I was just going to say. It's not a mini art full interior kit because no.
I have a Tamiya one. It's yours if you want it.
Wow, that's very kind of you. Thank you. Yeah, I didn't have any particular kit in mind, but it definitely won't be a full interior mini art. Not again. No, I couldn't go through that pain again. It was painful last time. I'm actually building a mini art kit at the minute, just a simple checkpoint, and even that, the parts count is just ridiculous. There's a little tiny telephone, and it was 4 parts with massive sprue gates, and it's like, why? No, but it is nice. Yeah, thank you, John.
I'll grab it from the stash right after this recording.
Wow,
It's in the
Look
box.
at that grin.
I'm glad I came now.
Oh man! So Jackson, what about you? What do you want? What does the Sherman Master want?
It's actually nothing to do with Shermans,
Ooh,
and both of the
controversial.
kits that I'm coming for are fundamentally British, and I promise it's entirely coincidental. So Mini Arts London Type Bus or B Type Bus, the 1919 version, that kit is insanely expensive over here. As long as I can find it under like whatever it is over here, I'll be buying that and finding a way to fit it in my suitcase. The other one is way long ago, Airfix put out a Doctor Who TARDIS kit that I've also been looking for forever, and they don't have that pretty much anywhere over here. So I'm hoping, because Airfix is a bit bigger over there, and I guess so is Doctor Who in some ways, hoping I'll find that there. Other than that, I'm looking for a out of production Edward photo etch kit for the M151 Mutt. And then I'm also ordering some stuff through some UK retailers that actually bring them to the show. Yeah. And that might be something Ivan wants to explain too, because I didn't know about that, and I think it's awesome.
There's a great opportunity for out of production kits as well, because there are a couple of vendors there who literally have had the same stuff in the back of their van for decades.
Yeah,
and they keep turning out. And if you would rummage through that, you find some little gems hidden away in there.
That's exactly what Ivan told me.
You'll have fun in there.
Oh yeah.
So Ivan, your list is long and distinguished. What's on it?
Well, I had no intention of buying anything at NAS.
Oh, okay.
So
why?
How did that work out for you?
Expensive. Well, I said
Still paying for it.
Yeah, I was saying to Jackson, I was like, I don't know if I should buy nothing at Telford and just do a big online order when I get back. And he said, why not do both? I thought, great idea. So at Telford, I'm on a World War I hunt. I really want some World War I resin figures. Basically anything World War I that is remotely interesting. Our friend Zach recently did one of those resin field guns. Looks really cool. So anything World War I, I'm going to try and look for. I do really want figures. I know the Stalingrad figures are now out of production and getting really hard to find over here, but I'd like to think someone at the show will have them. Apart from that, kits, all the kits that I want, I don't think are even out yet. So yeah, supplies. I want some new sprue cutters, paints, glues, things like that. Telford's always the show. I think we've all said it. It's the good resupply shows to get your thinners, your primers, paints like that. It's you go there, you buy that stuff. That's like a staple of your purchase. But apart from that, there's no real kits. All the kits I'm bringing, I'm swapping with these guys. Like I'm bringing a lot of plastic to the show just to get rid of.
We always have a bit of a swap fest, don't we? Mr. Hobby leveling, Mr. Servicer, mahogany. I need to try this mahogany because everybody's raving about it for armor. I need to give it a try.
I don't like it and I've never tried it, but I say that to wind the Americans up.
Don't listen to him. It's really good. You got to try.
This is why we don't let him outside.
Yeah.
It's just a fad. Vallejo Prime is better.
So we're going to disinvite him from the group while we're there. We'll still take his reservations, but he can go someplace else. But the mahogany is great, and then also the black is really good too.
Yeah, I use the black all the time.
Yeah,
I've got 2 bottles with just dregs in at the minute because it's hard to get at the minute. So I'm hoping to catch up with that. But I definitely want to try that mahogany. It looks good.
Yeah, if you need some black graham, my local store has just had a resupply of the black 1500. So I'll get some for you this week.
If I can't pick any up, I'll definitely take you up on that.
Yeah, I'll bring it anyway.
What's his name? Yeah.
I also just want to give a quick shout out because TJ called me out. TJ's a very good World War I figure painter. He's very good. He won't admit it. There you are.
That one he's doing, or maybe just finished now, hasn't he? That is just beautiful.
The Austro-Hungarian he did was incredible.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. Ivan's okay too at figures. I mean, he's only a national award winner.
That was a default win.
Oh man. So, I think we've talked about the show a good amount. Let's fast forward to Sunday afternoon. What time do you think we'll start to close up shop and get on the road to head south to eat some fish and chips, which Jackson will eat and will enjoy?
I mean, I think so. It's going to sound like nothing for you guys in the US, but to travel from Telford down to Dorset, we're probably looking at 3.5 hours, maybe.
Yeah,
but UK roads are not good. So they're just not. It's a nightmare to get anywhere. So I think really we want to be kind of leaving no later than sort of 4:30 so that we can get there, get checked into the hotel, get dinner and all that stuff. Because if we leave it much later, because of where we're going to, everything closes.
Sunday, I forgot,
We'll be having a pot noodle in the hotel room.
Hey, that's a British traditional slice of bread and a pot noodle. Good night.
So yeah, maybe sort of 4, half 4. We need to be sort of thinking about getting on the road.
Nice. And then Monday we wake up and head over to Bovington, which will not disappoint. And Ivan's never been there.
I
can't believe that, Ivan.
I haven't been since I was 13, which is lots of years ago.
But you've been there.
Yeah.
I just can't get my head around it. You've never been.
I don't travel internally.
Oh my God.
Sounds disturbing in a way.
And I don't carry cash or take public transport.
Well, that is true.
Yeah.
He only drinks Fanta, nothing from a spigot.
The kind of sense of awe that JB and Jackson will feel when they walk into Telford for the first time. I absolutely guarantee you will feel that when you walk into Bovington for the first time.
The good thing is, if you do get bored of the tanks, you can nip next door because there's a monkey zoo next door.
Monkey World.
That's his speed.
I'll fit right in.
Yeah. So maybe another question very similar to the one we talked about, Ivan, to you, maybe, what is your expectation of Bovington and what are you looking forward to see the most there?
I know they've got a lot of tanks. I did it for the eye roll. No, I mean, without sounding cliche, I really want to see 131.
Yeah,
obviously, but the entire heavy German armor collection, the Tiger 1, the Tiger 2, Jag Panther, Jag Tiger, just they've got Ferdinand or an elephant, not sure which one it is. But also the more obscure stuff, like they've got a Samoa there, Samoa over the rainbow, and all the little weird obscure tanks that aren't as mainstream. Get a lot of pictures, get a lot of references for future builds we're all going to do, because we won't be able to find Jackson because he'll be in an engine deck somewhere just buried.
He'll be out in the Arresto yard, just climbing in hulks and stuff, offering his service. Hey, I'll volunteer here. I'll stay here.
Absolutely.
So their World War I hull is gorgeous.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
That's what I'm excited for. They have a Mark IV that was one of the ones that was used technically in World War II. They basically reactivated it to like defend the British Isles from the proposed German invasion. And they actually mounted like a Lewis gun ring mount to the top. And that exact Mark IV is at the museum. And I've wanted to build it for a while. So I'm going to go and see if I can like hold my hand up high with the camera and try to get a picture of the roof to see if there's any scars and see how they did it. So that's my go-to thing.
Nice.
I think a selfie stick, that'd work.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Use my gimbal.
I'll just get on Ivan's shoulders. You can just hold me up there.
Nice. So, and Graham, it's been a while since you've been there. Anything, striking your fancy that you want to see?
To be honest, I was just watching after listening to you guys talking about your Samoa build and then seeing yours. Yeah. I watched the Tank Museum do a load of videos about specific vehicles, and I watched theirs on the Samoa, as they call it, and it's in that really funky tricolor camo scheme, banded, and it just looks amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing that, to be honest, because I'm going to have to build one now, you realize. But yeah, the camo pattern that's in looks awesome, and I definitely want to have a look at that. But other than that, I was 13, so that's quite a lot of years ago since I was there last, so it's going to have changed a hell of a lot. And as I said in the chat the other day, my knowledge of armor and aircraft is very poor. So I might need a bit of a nudge. And that's a Tiger. Oh, is it? Right. Okay. Yeah.
Nice. Luke, anything for you?
Well, I was there. The last time I was there was 3 years ago, 4 years ago now. So what they've done is, during the period that everything was closed, is they've reconfigured every single exhibition within the Tank Museum. So I'll be seeing that for the first time. It's a lot more interactive. There's a lot of virtual stuff going on there, that they've spent 2 years putting this new format together. So that's going to be really interesting to see. And the World War I hall for me is it blows my mind every time. And they've got they've got the cutaway, and you can look inside the real vehicle and you just think how these guys operated in this like carbon monoxide hole, and we're still fighting. It's just amazing. Yeah, it really is. And that area of the country is very kind of significant for me, because in the British military, the reason it's at Bovington is because that's where our Royal Armoured Corps is based. It's a big training area. I've spent a lot of time getting wet, cold, and muddy around there. So yeah,
I lived down that part of the country for several years, so I know the area pretty well, and I've holidayed down there a few times when I was really young kid as well, which is actually when I went to the Tank Museum when I was actually on holiday. I lived there for years and never went back. So yeah, it's always nice to go back, and the scenery down there is just stunning. It's beautiful. Jurassic Coast, so you've got all the cliffs, and if you want to go fossil hunting, you can. Not that we'll have time for that because I'll be too busy tanking, but it is beautiful down there.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I think one of the things I'm looking forward to at the Tank Museum is actually the gift shop. I think they got a lot of cool stuff. Their Christmas jumper is out, which I'm a big fan of. So we will be getting that. I will wear that to the company holiday party. So I think that's one of the things I'm looking forward to, is just all the trinkets that I can put around my workshop and remind me of the good time. But the museum itself, I was there just about the same time you was, Luke, back in 2018. I actually got to go on my honeymoon, which was great. And that was the Tiger display there. So that's where they were all together except the Sturm Tiger. Carl mentions in the chat, yeah, the Elephant did go home, but I know they still have. They still got the other big boys, the Jagd Tiger and the two King Tigers, and obviously 131. So the displays I really enjoy too is the modern stuff. So like the Type 59 and the BMP they brought back from the Gulf War, seeing them kind of honestly raw and uncut. And the Enigma, the T-55 Enigma is another one where it's, so cool to see literally what came from the field. And then in that same area, they kind of have the factory scene where they have some of the tanks. I think one of them's cut in half, and they have the first Sherman, the oldest Sherman, which I'm sure Jackson's going to go, touch the glacis and, feel all of its texture. And
I'm excited to see it again for sure.
So take a selfie with it, and that'll be his new profile on any dating app. So,
you might have to pry me off it. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. So I mean, every aspect of the museum is going to be great. And then I think there's an opportunity to look at least over onto the restoration hall or that big hall. Essentially, it's a huge warehouse.
Yeah.
That's impressive as well.
I mean, we could just name drop you and they'll let us drive or whatever.
Oh,
I don't know if that works, but
we brought John Bernani over. Oh, here are the keys for 131.
No. Yeah, right.
Jesus. Spud, I think Spud's going to be there with us as well.
So
that's going to shape up to be a great trip. In addition to, us online here, John Everett, Spud, anyone else that we're missing that's going to be joining us for that trip?
Ben.
Ben, okay.
Yeah. No, Ben. Yeah, Ben's coming, isn't he? And I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, the others have to return home.
Go back to regular life.
Yeah, it's boring, isn't it?
It's unfortunate. So
that Bovington trip actually was really fortuitous because Ivan and I had just been talking about it probably about a week before this plan started. And I sort of said, Ivan, because I quite happily often go and pick him up from home and ferry him around the country because he doesn't do public transport. And he just mentioned that he really wanted to go. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, let's sort it out. I'll come and get you and we'll have a weekend down there or something. And he said, yeah. And it was just one of those things that we'll sort it out at some point. And then I think it was 3 or 4 days later when you'd said that you wanted to go. And Ivan sort of put in the chat, oh, I wouldn't mind. John and them are asking to go to the Tank Museum. Luke was like, I'll be up for that. And I thought, yeah, so will I. Let's go. Let's do it.
Nice.
So, yeah, it's all worked out really well. It's going to be brilliant.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely fantastic.
I'm buzzing. I'm so excited. Can you tell?
Yeah.
And
I think what I enjoy about the Tank Museum is their enthusiasm for the subject. And they're massive fans of modeling. They're massive fans of the hobby. There's videos on the YouTube channel about it, people building armor and stuff. And yeah, they're massively encouraging to that side of it. So yeah, it's going to be a great time.
Oh, it is. One thing I think we focused on as well with this is I made it obvious with all my posts on Facebook, and I've mentioned it a billion times. When I went to the US, it was more than just the model show. It was the week beforehand with all the museums and food and having a great time. And we're really trying to make that the same here. It's more than just Telford. It's everything else that we can do. It's impossible to beat John at being a host, but we can certainly try.
No, and that's what I'm looking forward to as well. I've seen in the chat here a lot of people have chimed in that they'll be at the show, and certainly I've watched your live streams from Black Rifle and a lot of the folks there that are looking forward to it. And that's the goal. I mean, I'll have the Plastic Posse shirt on. I'm going to have loads of stickers. We're just going to have a really good time, and that's what I'm looking forward to the most. I don't expect to, see everything because we're going to see everyone. And I think that's probably, the more important thing. And that sense of community, making those international connections that'll last a lifetime. That's
absolutely
going to be great.
Forging friendships. That's what it's about, without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. And then, we can respond in kind for Texas because I know, Luke, you're coming over.
Oh, yeah.
And, I don't know if you've made travel arrangements yet, but you are certainly welcome in Denver with Ivan beforehand if you want to see that part of the country, and we'll make a trip down. But getting back to Telford, this is I'm speechless. It's gonna be great.
It's a pretty big deal.
So we are what, 9 days away, 10 days away. It's going to be here before we know it. I have more work to do on my models, and I'm sure you gentlemen do too. So, well, Ivan's quit modeling for the time being.
Yeah, I'm on sabbatical for a week, 2 weeks.
I don't know whether I mentioned it, Ivan, but I finished my last shift today, so I've got plenty of time on my hands.
Yeah, I've got 1 day off, then a 7-day run. So you could be in the hangouts all day,
So
modeling, chilling.
You've got 1 full day off. That's 24 hours, yeah?
Yeah, but
that's that's a lot of time to work on Tomcats. Or you could just give up. It's up to you.
So
he's conceded already.
I've already conceded.
Luckily,
we've both agreed that we don't want comments.
I think that's blasphemy. I don't think I can say that with
not publicly. What you say?
Not publicly. Here we are, public to the world. But no, that. Joking aside, if it's there, I'll probably buy one. So seeing Sam's build of it, I know. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Spencer or Marcus have one that they're working on. So I foresee it being a very popular subject. And to be honest, I'm really looking forward to Airfix at the show. Call me what you want, but I'm really looking forward to their display. I've heard they do a really good job. Will they make an announcement at the show? Is that planned?
I heard a rumor today that their new 24 scale Spitfire is going on sale as of the 6th of November.
Well, I'll be buying one at the show then.
So if that is correct, and that's from a fairly reliable source, so if that is correct, they will have that.
That wouldn't be surprising. It's got to be very, very close to production now. And
it's been used in the UK, so logistically, it's not a big deal for them to get fairly soon.
Yeah, like you say, they do a nice stand anyway. They've always got built models painted and decaled and all that, but they've also got them just built from plastic, so you can see just them naked. Really cool. I'm really hoping Adam Tooby's stand is next to them this year again. His artwork is just you guys know, incredible. I've got a piece on my wall. I want to buy a few more because he's just a magnificent illustrator and artist. So I really hope he's there again. It's going to be really good. But I remind you, if you're buying food and drink at the venue, card only. They won't take cash.
Gotcha. I'm actually really happy to hear Tubi because I love his digital box arts. I want a couple, and that's probably going to be one of the things I bring back. I just got to think about the size and the tube fitting in the suitcase. That'll be the most important thing.
Well, if you do see anything there, John, that you're going to struggle to get back, I am happy to bring it back to here, and then I'll ship it out to the US.
Oh, cool. I really appreciate that. That might be something with the posters because I could get them in a nice solid tube and then send them back because it's one of my concerns with those always.
Yeah.
Well, if he has a catalog there and he's got them in tubes under the table ready.
Oh, cool.
So if you buy a piece, it'll give it you with obviously the number that's sealed and signed, and it's already in a really rigid tube. So they're good to go. So that's good.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm looking at all the things. I cannot wait.
Yeah, all of the stuff.
All the stuff. And then the SIGs and the people and the food, and we'll stop at McDonald's beforehand, get Jackson his Happy Meal. We'll be all set. It'll be great. I just can't wait.
I need chocolate milk.
I'm
sorry.
Which is different to a chocolate milkshake apparently, but whatever.
So it's a whole other conversation.
Last night, Jackson, we're looking at clubs for us to go at in London.
Oh, yeah. Yep, we're gonna hit up a club one of the nights we're in London for sure.
Yeah,
I told him he doesn't have a choice, and he will be dancing because he said he never dances. I'm like, all right, we're gonna get you enough Beefeater strawberry gin to.
Please take a video.
Oh, there will be videos, and it will be all over the Posses page. Believe me. We'll get new stickers.
No more stickers.
If you can catch it, there's a well-known club called Scala in London, and they do a non-lyric power ballad night.
Huh.
And I don't do nightclubs, but I was dragged in there some years ago. We were going to see Green Day at Wembley, and the night before I got dragged into Scala, and it was all power ballads, but with no lyrics. and there were those, those inflatable saxophones and stuff.
Mhm.
There was those lying around, and everybody just had to sing the songs and pretend to play instruments, and it was actually a really good fun.
That's unique. That sounds fun.
like my type of night.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I have to mention, John Tapsell has just mentioned, if there's an empty glass case in front of the Airfix stand, then they'll be announcing something.
Yeah.
So pay attention. If there's an empty stand, that means something's coming.
Nice. So sticking on the topic of late night events, and I know we're coming up a little bit over an hour, we'll probably call it here soon. One of the things, at the IPMS Nationals, the night affair, once the show ends, the real party begins. Is that the same type of environment there? Is there a local pub or place, hotel rooms? Does that type of environment exist outside of the show hours as well?
I don't think Premier Inn will appreciate Nat's level noise. I'll just say that now, getting kicked out by security at 3 a.m. But everyone will know that there's a Wetherspoons nearby. Which
never been in a Wetherspoons.
You're not missing much. It's a bit loud.
Wow, yeah, you're not missing much.
Nightlife. There's restaurants. There's a couple bars. Telford Centre isn't a big centre. You make your own legal entertainment.
Mm.
Yeah.
Glad you caveated it as legal.
Yeah, I think it's about the group of friends that you're there with.
Mm-hmm.
So there absolutely will be good times after the day has ended.
Oh yeah.
But for a lot of people, they retire, get something to eat, retire to the hotel room, and that's it. But yeah, we will definitely be sociable, that's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Outstanding.
There's gin to be had.
Pink gin, right?
Oh yeah.
Strawberry gin. Apparently, there's a difference.
No, it's just the bottle you looked at just said pink. It was,
but it said pink,
strawberry.
and then in the description it said strawberry flavor.
It's not the same bottle that I have on my shelf.
So we're a little bit over an hour. We'll tidy this up. Maybe one last parting shot. As we look forward to Telford, we've kind of hinted at it. We've kind of talked about it, but I'd love to go around the room one last time for each person to, state what are they looking forward to the most. And, we can all lead with that. So we'll just go around the ring. I'll start with Ivan.
You guys, I wouldn't go to Telford if I was going on my own. Simple as that. Same with us. If I was going solo, I won't bother. You guys and the friends and the social make the shows what they are. Simple as that. Spending time with you lot and having a laugh.
Awesome. Jackson?
I'm going to sound redundant, but also you guys. More specifically, I'm really excited to see Ivan again. We had a blast hanging out at Nat's. So we've been talking a lot on Discord and stuff back and forth, and it'll be fun to hang out with him in person again. And then on top of that, I've got a few other friends over in England that I'm excited to meet in person. Christian Wolf is one of them. He does amazing modeling work, and I'm bringing him a kit that he wanted. So I'm excited to meet him in person. And honestly, just experiencing a non-US show for the first time. I think it'll be really fun.
Nice. Luke?
I can only echo, really. It's the social side, meeting you guys for the first time. There's lots of members of the Black Rifle group that I kind of know the name, but I don't know them. They've already said they'll be at Telford. We're going to try and do some sort of meet and greet thing and actually meet these people face to face, shake hands, have a coffee, whatever. So that, for me, that's the whole purpose of the weekend. And I'm also, little Al McNeish is staying at my house that weekend. So I'm looking forward to hosting Al for sure.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Graham, your thoughts?
Yeah, exactly the same. It's all about the social for me. Although I think for the first time, I'm actually probably more likely to pay more attention to the club and SIG stands for some sort of inspiration now. I've got I've got some stuff in mind that I want to build, and I'm looking for some ideas on that. But overwhelmingly, it's just the socials. Really, it's just meeting everybody. It's going to be great.
Awesome. Well, I'll echo the same, but I think, all of us can agree it's not only the people we know, but the people we haven't met yet.
Yeah,
and I'm sure that we're going to walk away from the show with newer relationships, new friendships, and long lasting, just, a brotherhood, to be honest, and look forward to meeting everyone in the Black Rifle community, other communities, seeing their work, sharing stories, and honestly making memories, and look, just building upon what, we've had presence online and bringing it in person. And then also, sharing this with other people that have considered Telford. I think one thing is we've been really lucky to, bring people into the IPMS Nationals, through the Triple P. When I looked at Telford, going live streams with you folks and the Black Rifle community, the folks at the Triple P, and just, again, maybe next year it attracts one more person, and it attracts a person not only to the show, but the community in which we're trying to build. And that's what I look forward to as well. And I can't wait to shake all of your hands and, share a pint, and certainly, treat for at least one of them. And, again, come back a month from now that I don't even want to think about, and have a recap around, what we shared and what we'll never forget. So,
Absolutely.
With that, if there's no other parting shots, we can call it. We can thank our listeners for, tuning in, listening in, and then this will be posted not only on Facebook but YouTube, but it'll go in the upcoming episode that drops prior to Telford. I think it drops the Wednesday prior to. So if you're heading to Telford, you can certainly tune in and have a listen, get hyped, get excited. We look forward to seeing you. And again, I want to thank everybody that was not only online participating, but my lovely co-hosts here. So I can't wait to see you in person.
It's going
Thanks,
to be
guys.
awesome.
Been great.
Good of
Oh,
you.
yes.
So with that, take care, enjoy yourselves and each other, and we will see you in Telford.
Later.
See you later,
Bye.
folks. Bye-bye.